you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah. It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Want some candy?
Want some candy?
This is Evil hanging out in the back room talking Predator Dose.
And you know, I have to say it right off the bat since we're doing it, but, okay, pussyface, let's do this.
It's your move.
Good God, dude. When you brought up that you wanted to cover this movie, I was like, yes, why haven't we done this yet?
I have an answer for that. I have the very simple answer for that. It is one of those movies that is a complete fail-safe. We do not have to watch this movie in order to talk about this movie. So I know for a fact I did not rewatch this before recording because we literally made this decision, I think, a day or two before we hit record today. And I'm fairly certain you didn't watch it recently again either.
I did not.
But we don't have to.
I was gonna say, like you said, it's ingrained in our brains, and that's one of the things that I was gonna say was, for whatever reason, when you talk to Predator fans, there's some really hardcore Predator fans out there who really only care for or appreciate the first Predator film. And I guess I never really knew that because I grew up on both of the Predator films, and Predator 2 is just barrels of fun. It's just so much fun that I can't see how anyone could hate it.
It's yeah, it has something. I think I'm kind of in the same boat of that that I grew up watching it. I remember it premiering on HBO. I think if I can still dig it up, the Predator 2 VHS tape that we had. I remember there was like one of those HBO hosts fucking talking about behind the scenes stuff, some interviews and whatnot. And I still remember an HBO giveaway for something. I'm sure it was an entertainment system or something or other, but they totally had like a 3-question trivia thing. And I still remember one of the questions was, who was the drug dealer of Los Angeles? And it was like, King Willie, King Cole, or King something else. But I remember those were two of the options.
Good God.
What vision was the Predator seeing in? Was it this vision, or infrared?
Oh man. Yeah, you would have ran away with that. Give me my free prize.
You could have casually watched that shit and won those. Those were so layup T-ball questions.
And sidebar to, I think one of the other things that made me love this movie so much is there's a video game for it, and it's not a bad video game that I believe I had it on Sega, but I believe it came out for Super Nintendo as well. And you're Harrigan and you're running around shooting drug dealers, and then the Predator comes after you occasionally, and it's super fun, super violent, and it just, the cover art was the Predator standing on that statue holding his spear or whatever.
Yeah,
that promotional thing. And
I don't think I ever played that, but I do know the imagery you're talking about.
Oh God, I love that game. I love just looking at that cover art. But yeah, so I suppose you can hit them with a brief plot synopsis, and then we can dive right in to Predator 2.
Predator 2 is... we don't get any explanation why another Predator alien is here. He just shows up, apparently, and you start out with the jungle, and it quickly dissolves into Los Angeles in the future dystopia of 1997.
Missed the mark just a little bit, but it really isn't that far off. There's a lot of bad shit going on.
I mean, at the time that they made this, there was the race riots were going on in Los Angeles, so it was more true to life of what was going on in 1991, 1992 than necessarily 1997. Right. But that was there, and they decided, well, we've been to the jungle, now it's time to go to the concrete jungle. And this time it's going to be, it's hard. It's Danny Glover, who is essentially playing Murtaugh and Riggs melded together. He is still Roger Murtaugh, but now he's reckless, wild, and crazy, and somehow seems and looks 10 years younger. So he's adapted the Mel Gibson Riggs persona a little bit, and he's just fucking mowing down drug dealers. He's that cop. You're like, God damn it, I don't like you, but I respect you. Get out there and clean up them streets. So he's got his own posse of a crew that he's taken out drug dealers with, and then he starts finding out that all these armed dealers, and it's the Jamaican drug gang, which has apparently affiliation. They got the idea for a Jamaican drug gang from drug gangs that were in Kansas City, Missouri at the time.
Wow,
so
nice. I did not know that.
Yes, there is some truth in the roots of a Jamaican drug lord gang. But these gang members start getting knocked off and skinned and hung upside down, so Danny Glover thinks must be some kind of new player in town. But then comes from the first movie Arnold Schwarzenegger to tell him, nah, psych, bullshit.
Just kidding. Yeah.
He would not do this. Instead, we have Gary Busey. Yeah, Gary Busey. He's coming in. He's going to tell you, you don't know what you're dealing with there, boy. You don't know what you're dealing with. This is an alien predator, goddammit. And I'm going to cut his head off and put it on my wall right next to Ice-T.
Right next to Prince Henry Stout.
Right next to Prince Henry Stout. So, Gary Busey leads the scientific military brigade to try to capture the Predator.
He's the Paul Reiser of fucking Predator 2.
Oh, fuck that. I was like, I don't necessarily want to see Gary Busey die, but man, I cannot wait for Paul Reiser to get this. If I could see Paul Reiser killed and skinned by a Predator, sign me up.
The more deaths of Paul Reiser, the better. Yeah, he's a real good piece of shit in Aliens.
Absolutely. But we have these two different forces trying to take this Predator down. Of course, Busey doesn't survive. It's up to Danny Glover as Harrigan to take this beast down. Not alive, he's got to kill it. And it turns into almost a fever dream because there's a battle that goes into an apartment complex.
So awesome.
Danny Glover falls down an elevator shaft, which somehow lands him inside of a spaceship to where he has this final encounter.
Don't question it, baby.
I have to, because he battles the final battle with the Predator. He ends up seeing all these other Predators that are still apparently hanging out in this spaceship.
Hanging out in the fucking subterranean Los Angeles.
Yeah, and then this spaceship takes off from underneath an apartment complex, to which Danny Glover walks out of this crater in the ground, covered in soot, looking like he just crawled up from Ground Zero in 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And it leaves it wide open for what was supposed to be Predator 3, because I think the layout was going to be Predator 2 was, we're going to display the toys. Like, here's all these fancy new gadgets he has. And Predator 3, we're going to go back in time, because they put little tidbits in there to be like, we're going to go back to Old West style, facing off with a Predator. And that was supposed to be the original plans for what never materialized as Predator 3.
See, I never knew that. That's amazing. And you kind of glossed over, you did mention Harrigan's ragtag group of police, but that's what's so captivating about this movie is the cast, right? So like you already mentioned, you've got Gary Busey, you've got Danny Glover, you got Maria Conchita Alonso, who I absolutely love in this movie, and you've got the king, the motherfucking king of character actors, Bill Paxton, stealing the fucking show in this movie. Well, every time he talks.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
But you also can't forget the glue, I feel. The pillar standby. No. He is always there in the same role. A lot of times he's always a cop. He plays essentially the same fucking role in Fatal Beauty. But Ruben Blades.
Oh, Danny Boy.
Yes, as Danny Boy. Which, man, is he a great second in this, in Fatal Beauty. Shit, even in the Super, Ruben Blades owns it. I love
Oh, yeah.
when he pops on screen, and thankfully he's still alive.
And the thing about him that's so great too, which I completely forgot about the super until you just mentioned it, because he's absolutely amazing in that movie. But and that kind of lends to his persona in Predator 2, is that he is a character actor who has comedic timing down pat, but he does it played completely straight.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of times in Predator 2 where he's being funny without like looking at the audience and doing the old wink wink nudge nudge.
Well, if you're feeling up to it, you can waddle your way in to see Hennigan. He wants to talk to you.
So good, dude. But this movie does definitely, it gives us that the government coming in and taking over the investigation. And then, of course, you already mentioned it, you've got Danny Glover, who is sort of this unhinged character type of a cop. Like he's
Roger
wants
Riggs.
to solve shit. Yeah, he doesn't play by the rules at all, and which is the quintessential police movie trope. Like
Shit,
even the fucking commissioner.
Yeah, even to tie it in, the fucking captain from Lethal Weapon is his like superior in this as well. That he's the one telling him when they're trying to go into the building to flush out what's left of those drug dealers. He's like, "No, he says we got to hold off, seal the building, and wait, and kiss my sweet ass."
And I might be wrong because I don't have the IMDb or anything up, but I'm gonna say that guy is the same guy who plays the father, and he's a military man in Return of the Living Dead 3. I'm almost 100% positive without looking it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not I haven't seen Return of the Living Dead 3 as much as you have, so I cannot confirm or deny it. But I do know that is there are the relationship between him and Danny Glover that goes all the way into the Lethal Weapon quadrilogy, or trilogy if you're me.
Yeah, there's no more Lethal Weapons. 3 is where it ends. We don't need to 4, 5, 9, however many more they made. Did they make 5?
I think they just stopped at 4. I think I've heard bits of a 5, but I don't. It's definitely too old now. Like Danny Glover is definitely too old for that shit now.
Well, and okay, so as far as this movie goes, with we have the police presence, we have the FBI presence, but one of the things that I really like about this movie, that makes this movie so much fun, is that introduction of the gangs and the drugs and all the stuff that's going on, because they let you know right off the bat, as soon as this movie opens, it's a giant shootout, right? That the city has gone to shit. So that theme carries its way throughout the whole movie, including, on the subway, when every person on the subway is armed, which
They're all
as an
armed.
as an audience member, because you've seen Predator 1, you go, hey, he's only killing you because you have weapons and you're a threat. You're a predator to the predator. And so as soon as all those people pull out the guns in the subway, you're like, you're fucked. And it's an awesome sequence.
The only person who does not get killed that should be killed in Predator 2 is Morton Downey Jr.'s character.
Oh my God.
Tony Pope from Hardcore, which he's not technically carrying a weapon, but you can totally see the Predator using his vision and seeing that fucking, when he's holding the camera, be like, that looks like a big ass bazooka weapon thing. Shoot him anyway.
That is true. I never really thought of that he's the guy you get set up with, that the audience just wants to see eviscerated. But the movie dances around it and doesn't kill him. That's true.
He rides a weird thin line because he plays kind of a real douchebag reporter type, but he doesn't. He's portraying a very somber kind of character when he's talking about some of the shit that's going on in the city. Which, man, definitely with the a 38-year-old man's eyes, I look at it and go, they would never show a skinned corpse on fucking hardcore copy TV. But then straight up there,
hey man, 1997 was a different time.
Yeah, there were no apparent oversight on television shows. You could show a skinned corpse just there. I don't think I've ever seen that to this day, thank God.
Well, you got hardcore, and then following immediately after was The Running Man.
Yeah,
you know,
but, man, but but you want to see that character get it because you just can't separate Morton Downey Jr. from any character that he played either on Tales from the Crypt or this movie. He's just a rash of a human being.
It's true.
He plays it well, being like, you just need to leave. Surprisingly, died, I think, of lung cancer. Not surprising. Dude smoked every day.
I did not know that. Rest in peace, Home Slice. But one of my other favorite characters in this movie. It's a shame that we don't get more of him, and that is King Willie himself. I really they set this whole movie up that he's kind of this drug kingpin, and he's got all these underlings and all this stuff. They're out doing voodoo magic for him and whatnot. And when we're introduced to him, we literally only get the one scene with him. But boy, is it an awesome scene.
I feel he needs a second. He needs
like a underling, someone second in command.
Yeah, because I feel like
Isaac Hayes.
I feel like all the drug dealers will be saying the same shit Danny Glover's saying when King Willie's talking. He's really kind of talking in kind of real vagaries. So I imagine all the drug dealers going, "Makes sense, man." I feel you needed a second in command guy to be able to interpret King Willie's crazy fucking words, and he wants you to really do this when he's saying it's always the same. That means he wants you to change up your pattern of how you're distributing the narcotics.
Yeah, because I think maybe he was just, what's the rule? Don't get high on your own supply. And I think
he's gone.
He's tooting it or whatever.
He's the king.
I don't know the proper drug term.
He's the fucking king of the drug lords there, and he's living in the fucking alley.
He's like Lawrence Fishburne in the John Wick movies.
I mean, kinda. He's just throwing chicken bones on a trash can lid, and that's what his life is. I'm sure the dude stinks to high heaven. For good lord, the only thing clean on him is his sword that comes out of his cane.
Why are you assuming he lives in the alley?
Look at him.
They just didn't decide to meet in that alley.
He looks like he just crawled up from sleeping in the corner next to the dumpster in that alley. He looks.
Better slang us some more cane, JoJo. We only got half a load here.
It's the dudes that drop out Danny Glover off, he's in his home alley turf. That's why you can't find a place where he's living, because they're like, oh, it's in an alley. We'll never find him living in an alley.
Right. Yeah, where's the crossover that we deserve? We need a crossover between Predator 2 and Jason Takes Manhattan.
But even though I want the prequel where I wanted to see King Willie just come into Los Angeles and dominate the drug scene and just take out all these other logistically thinking, well-dressed, living in, high-end apartment drug deal kingpins, which I kind of wonder, is that what that one dude is that they break in on? That dude that's fucking living it up in the super high-rise apartment with no window covers at all, just getting the time of his life until the drug lords come in and string him up butt-ass naked and stab him in the heart.
Which you brought it up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Bush.
Well, yeah. I always thought that the noises that she's making always kind of really bother me. And now that we've seen Sonny be a porn star, that's really what I think of. It's like you got that smoker's lung. That's your sexy moan.
See, I don't classify that as smoker's lung. Smoker, Sonny sounded like she's about ready to pass out on top of you. This chick sounds like she's gotten into, she's just hit her 9th orgasm, and she's just about ready to physically collapse.
It sounds like she's getting stung by a bunch of bees or something.
One more, and she's like, blah.
Right. Yeah, because I've always been it's a real, it's guttural, I think, is what my problem is. It's like a cat trying to throw up. It fucking weirds me out.
That's the sound of someone who is super comfortable with their O face and the sounds they're going to make. That I applaud that woman for for going for it, because that's a 20-year relationship orgasm. That's what that sounds and looks like right there. That's the no inhibitions held back anymore, just letting it roll. And I highly applaud her for going for it, because that's my ultimate end goal. It's like, if I can get the missus to make those noises, I win.
You get the Predator 2 noises.
I win the Predator 2 award.
Yes.
She'll be laying next to me. I'll be like, hey, makes sense, man.
And we can't really talk about this movie without bringing up the Predator design, or the overall effects in this movie, because I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm sure that people who listen to us might share the same opinion, but it seems like, in the first Predator and in Predator 2, for whatever reason, they could get it right. And I don't know if that's just because it was Stan Winston and his crew, but every single outing afterwards, the Predators have not looked as good. And it blows my mind that they could do this right in 87 and in 91 or whatever year Predator 2 came out, and we can't duplicate it now. The closest we've come is in Predators with Adrian Brody. They look pretty good in that movie, the Robert Rodriguez one. But man, do they look good in this movie. There's not an effect really in this movie where I go, well, that could have been better.
I'm almost there. I definitely feel it started at the highest point of Predator, and it's been a descent ever since. But this movie, I didn't really feel it. I didn't feel it was subpar until they have the zoom in on the Predator's face after Danny Glover gets the mask off.
Oh, you don't like that?
It's okay, but it looks a little bit more cartoony than the original. The original Predator face looks a lot more quote-unquote real. It doesn't seem animatronic or puppetry in any way. But
gotcha.
When you zoom in, when they have that zoom in on the Predator 2 face, it looks a little bit like that. Like, I can definitely tell it's not real. Oh, but when I look at that first Predator, how the face looks, that looks real. Like,
you know what? Predator 2, when they do that zoom on that Predator's face, you know what it reminds me of? And I think I've told you this off air, but like, when there's a dead spider and their legs kind of curl up?
Yeah.
They're like on their back and they curl. That is, I just see like a dead spider. And all those colors that are on that Predator's face, because all the Predators have different masks or different color palettes, because they're a race of whatever the hell they're called. I almost called them kaiju. That's not right. That's the remix will be like
Godzilla. That's a Godzilla.
Yeah, whatever. But I really like the look of that Predator, and it reminds me of like a garden spider.
Garden spider, or definitely if you're like me and got to deal with these on a yearly basis, a certain time of year, it's the camel crickets. Mm-hmm. It looks exactly like the color combination of a camel cricket to me.
Yeah, it's creepy, but I can totally see what you're saying, how it's starting to get that cartoony vibe, and that's another thing. Can't really talk about this movie without bringing this up. Like I already said with the video game, but then, Atari Jaguar came out around that time, so they had the Alien vs. Predator game.
Yeah.
Kenner had license to the Aliens and the Predators toys, so they were making Alien vs. Predator toys.
I had those.
And me too, tons of them. But remember those Predators? There was a normal Predator, and then they just kept getting more and more flamboyant. Like, there's a green one, there's one with like tusks, like there's all these weird,
like the fucking Batman figures. Like, eventually you get to a Batman that's got a bright neon green suit, and like, Batman would never wear this bullshit,
but it's $10 and I'm buying it.
Yeah, I was like, do you want it? Like, yes I do want it.
Yeah, and so that kind of reflects the era that we were in. Everything, even if it was R-rated, it got toys or it got video games.
Because they knew we were watching this shit.
Oh yeah, of course they did.
They didn't pussyfoot around like they would today. They're like, well, we can't quite make a toy of an R-rated movie. They'd be outraged. Back then, they're like, fuck you. We know your kids are watching this shit.
Yeah, and which is funny because like RoboCop, it went the opposite direction. You know, it started as a hard R and then it turned into a kids movie. But if you compare Predator 1 to Predator 2, Predator 2 does have a gratuitous sex scene. It does have nudity. And arguably, I would say, obviously the body count is higher. I would say that there's more gore in Predator 2, and it's, you know, secretly targeted towards the younger audience.
Can you imagine?
And it's more hardcore than the first one.
Can you imagine that shit today? Like, I can already see the YouTube news, like, headline reports, clips from, like, MSNBC, Fox News, all that shit being like, would you want your kids playing with a toy that came from this movie? And immediately cut to bitches leave.
Yeah.
Snorting coke off breasts. And we're like, you want your kids watching this and playing with toys that represent this feature film? Shame.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they would just beat you down and turn the movie company into a villain and all that stuff. But not in 1991, goddammit.
No, they let that shit just fly because they knew who was watching this stuff, so they're like, fuck it, let's make some toys.
Yeah, it was 100% for us, and like I can remember renting this, right, and my mom having no qualms about it. My mom being like, whatever, you know. Never even looked at the rating, but that's a different era. And of course, that year for Christmas, there were Alien versus Predator toys. And I had a shitload of them.
So we didn't get Arnold tying over into the second movie, unfortunately. He was supposed to play the Gary Busey role, but ended up not doing it. But the one person we did get from Predator 1 to Predator 2, who is, man, if he could have just been with us today, I'd love to see what he would have been able to do. But the hidden star of the Predator double feature, Kevin Peter Hall.
Oh my God, yeah, one of the greatest character actors, suit actors, second only to Doug Jones.
Yeah, and he had a leg on Doug Jones because he was fucking huge.
Yeah, he was.
Not built huge necessarily, but he was a tall fucking dude, man.
It's like 7'2" or something.
Yeah, he also played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons. So, and unfortunately, I keep wanting to tie Predator 2 to like 1992. But that may have just been when I finally saw it on HBO.
Was it 92? Because it
was 1990.
91. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah.
So we were way off because, unfortunately, Kevin Peter Hall died April 10th, 1991 at the age of 35.
Yeah, because he had AIDS or something, or cancer.
Something
wicked bad.
Wicked bad. I want to say that was like a really bad accident. Well, I completely forgot this was a thing too. I remember it only when it's brought up by an external source, but there was a Harry and the Hendersons television series. And it was announced, and he had contracted HIV from a blood transfusion. Hall had contracted HIV after receiving a contaminated blood transfusion during surgery for injuries that he sustained. So that's what ended up happening there. It was like technically like a
bogus
medical fucking mishap. Took Kevin Peter Hall from us, and it's a fucking crime because he was a phenomenal, imposing figure in these movies. Like, I've not in any other movie ever where someone's went against Arnold Schwarzenegger and I was like, I'm scared for Arnold. Like, it could
no shit.
100 guys with armed weapons and Schwarzenegger could just pull out his hand with some skin on it and I still wouldn't be afraid. But when that Predator takes his mask off in the first movie and he's just creeping up on Arnold during that final confrontation, I'm like, he is fucked. Run, Arnie, run.
That whole sequence in the first Predator is it's a masterclass in filmmaking. It's so well done. And there's a couple of scenes like that in this movie too, where they do it in flashes in the subway, where the Predator is just coming towards Bill Paxton. But again, when you talked about the apartment complex battle, right? That's when you really get a long look at the Predator. And he's just shoulder blocking doors open and, you know, punching holes in walls. Like, dude, he is terrifying. And Danny Glover is not imposing in any way, shape, or form.
No. As soon as he takes his mask off in this movie, when he starts snarling at Danny Glover, I'm like, if Danny Glover does not unload everything in that shotgun in the next 3 seconds, he's a dead man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing which this movie kind of shares a little bit of a parallel with Aliens, you know. You got... In Aliens, they all have their motion trackers, and when they first get to LV-426, and then they get the ambush. And in this movie, they figure out that the Predator can hunt with his infrared, so they're in the slaughterhouse where it's really cold, and then they spray this mist and shit, so the Predator can't see them.
Some type of dust, if I recall.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name of it technically, but yeah. Yeah, he just goes through different modes on his fucking vision settings and just finds a setting that works for the appropriate environment that he's in. Which I like that that's a thing. It's never a thing. It's never been an issue of oxygen either. Apparently, he just breathes the same air we do. That's never been a thing. Yeah. But he can adjust settings to whatever he needs to see shit in. But part of that whole. These are the toys of the Predator motif that they had planned out.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, and in Predator 1, when he goes to fight Arnold and he takes his mask off, there's like an air release. Yeah. And it kind of happens. It doesn't happen. It happens, but it's like on the first one, he's like taking like 4 or 5 of them fucking things off. And this one, it's like one like underneath the chin or on the side of the face that he does. So they cut it down just to like one, because it'd be kind of monotonous to see Danny Glover keep finding all these different valve pipes that just bust open on this mask. And so it kind of seems like that is some form of a breathing apparatus. You know,
it could be.
Like some.
I used to think that, but now since I notice he's just breathing fine in air, I just assume it's just a way to keep it compressed to his face and maybe allow an oxygen source through. Like it's just something that keeps it stuck to his head. Yeah, well, and also, you know, he's a hunter, so he uses that. It's a piece of his armor. It's a piece of his weaponry, essentially. Speaking of weaponry, how do you like that when he's knocked off of the that pillar on the side of the building, falls through another apartment's window, and then he's using like drywall chunks to seal up gunshot wounds and a severed arm.
Yeah, I love that, dude. It's so bonkers. It's like, let me just make a quick hot paste.
Whatever's around. Like, yeah, apparently drywall and glass and shit works just fine to heal a wound.
Well, you know, I mean, it's no different than if you're like out in the woods or whatever and you get a deep laceration, you're supposed to like pack it with mud, right? Like that's a thing that we do.
I mean,
I've never done it personally because I'm not Rambo, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I weird to think mud would be less bad than just shit that's coming out of the wall? Like when they start beating the shit out of the wall, and like just put that in there, and it's better than
that's
nothing.
Lead paint. The Predator dies like.
Yeah, starts going blind during the fight. You see those? You see that foggy. Like covering go over his eyes, and he's just swinging and like randomly firing his fucking shoulder cannon at nothing. Like, it's the lead paint. It's killing you in the pussy.
That's excellent. Oh my god.
Shoddy construction work is what took down the Predator.
Yep. It was infection that finally did him in.
But you mentioned Aliens a bit ago, and you can't not mention the most obvious and one of the first like real out there Easter eggs in a movie that sparked.
Oh yes.
That sparked the debate that would go on for decades. Because we get a shot.
There is no debate.
We get a shot inside the trophy room of the Predators, where they have all these different heads, which there's a lot more imposing looking shit in there that like, what's the story on this thing? But if you look in like the bottom, almost right-hand corner, you see an alien skull. And like, oh shit, predators have fought aliens.
Yeah, and I mean, you could call it a debate all you want, but I'm pretty sure I know where we stand on it, and that's the only right opinion, is that the predators would starch the aliens.
I mean, if you ask me that, I go, yeah, I think Predators would easily win. But man, you go look at the movies and like Predators are getting the shit kicked out of them in a lot of those AVP
and I hate those
fights
movies because of it.
But again, that could totally be on that. I think it's a concept that they used for when they were filming Aliens. Is yeah, you got this military, well-trained hunter type, but they're trying to take on these creatures that are living, breathing 24/7 to hunt. So I can kind of see that perspective playing out against predators as well. But yeah, my initial reaction is to always say predator wins.
Yeah, well, I mean, like aliens to me, they remind me of like an ant hill.
It's an insect, but yeah, again, you know, we've seen fucking ants take down things 20 times its size. So
that's true, but I just feel like predators are too smart for them.
They're too cooler.
I feel like the movie, yeah, they're super cool, but like the first movie, AVP, definitely doesn't reflect that. Like, I get so mad when I watch it, which is why I choose not to watch it. Because I'm like, man, listen here, like you are not sneaking up on this motherfucker. You are not like.
But we own it.
You know,
like
yeah, multiple copies.
This is bullshit. You want a copy of it? Yes, I do. I do want a copy of it.
Saw it in theaters and walked out angry, and then bought it the day of release on DVD. And then
there's the true insight of our madness right there. We were like, that was absolute not a good movie. I cannot wait to buy this thing.
Yep, and then bought it recently on Blu-ray. So I have.
I mean, we're in the same boat at my house with the Rob Zombie films. Like most of Rob Zombie films are like these are not good at all, but we own every goddamn one of them.
Yeah. Devil's Rejects is the high point, but
we own Lords of Salem.
As do I.
We own.
I have this special edition Blu-ray with the soundtrack.
Jesus Christ! What is wrong with us?
I really don't know. Because I thought maybe if I buy the special edition, it'll be a better movie. I don't know. Or at least I'll feel better. I'll feel better about spending the money.
I could definitely would be interested in hearing what a psychologist would say about whatever this problem is that we have. And like, so you went to this film, you paid money, and you didn't care for it, and then you bought it when it came out on physical copy. And then
I'm not proud of it, but I did.
And then you bought it again because they came out with a better edition of it.
Yes.
You're a stranger.
What's wrong with me, Doc?
How do I fix this? Why am I broken?
I'm not fixing anything.
Where's my Predator 2 Blu-ray release? That's what I really want. That's why I'm buying all these movies, because I don't have Predator 2 on Blu-ray.
A while back, Walmart had like a 4-film set Blu-ray. It was right when Predator got released on 4K. And that was the only way you could get Predator 2 on Blu-ray was to buy that 4-pack. And I'm like, I own all these movies multiple times over. I'm not buying this 4-pack. So hurry up, Shout Factory, and give us a standalone Predator 2.
Well, that's a sign of how things have changed, too, because, man, we used to just have everything taped off HBO, and I used to be under the mindset of, like, it's not a tape unless I got at least 3 movies on that fucking tape. 3 movies is what it fits. And then Blu-ray DVD came through, and I'm like, I want solo copies of everything now. I don't want 4 or 5 DVDs in one pack. I'm like, get out of here with that shit. I want these all individually.
Yep. Well, and you know what? It's different because you ever seen the movie High Fidelity with the John Cusack movie?
I own that, yes.
Yes. Our era, when we were growing up, it does have sort of a mixtape connection to it, right? So, like when you would make your own mixtapes to listen to in your car, that was like not just a day project. Sometimes that could be a whole weekend of like curating the perfect songs. And a lot of the times with those VHS tapes, it was the same thing. It was like, I'm going to go to the video store and I'm going to rent, Evil Dead 2 and Prom Night and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and I'm gonna put those all on one tape. And then it's like, it's, you know, it is recorded, but it's recorded in your mind of that experience of that time you rented those 3 movies. So every time you pull that tape out, you go immediately transported back to that time of walking in that store, renting those movies, and watching them for the first time. So very mixtapey. Again, I wonder what a therapist would say about us, but
I like most of ours. It had some kind of semblance of order to it when we taped things off TV, and sometimes they had no like coordination to it at all. Like, I definitely know one of my tapes was '89 Batman, and then it was Weekend at Bernie. So in my mind, I tie those together because sometimes it's just, well, what tape do we have that's close by that has enough room on it that I can fit this movie on to record? It's coming on in 5 minutes. All right, you put it in there. All right, record, go.
Yep. And that, I think, because we grew up doing that and having those tapes, like, that's one of the main things that I remember about my dad was the way that he would curate movies onto VHS tapes. And there really never was a rhyme or reason. You know, it would be Evil Dead 2 House,
yes,
and fucking
Spaceballs,
Deadly Blessing or some shit. Yeah, it would be some weird shit, like just the weirdest fucking movies, or you know, it'd be a tape of like 2.5 hours of unsolved mysteries, and then all of a sudden Short Circuit 2. Like, okay,
yes, yes. I believe we had the same. All of our parents had the same mentality. Just throw anything on there. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm. I'd like to watch that later. I better record that. You know, long before the old TiVo and whatever else bullshit.
Before on demand. Before TiVo, there was, well, I want to watch this eventually. Well, what tape we got? And that's how you end up like me with a tape that has Class Act and Amityville 1992 on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you know, like in the DVR, like I remember when DVR first came out, and I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like, I record this all into this memory of my, you know, and then I can go back, and that's how like I kind of started accruing my Freddy's Nightmares episodes. So, but we got way fucking sidetracked. Predator 2, anyway. It's 43 minutes into the podcast.
Hey, it may be a record for our longest we've gone before we finally got sidetracked into something else, but it all stemmed off our Predator 2 conversation, which we both have Predator 2 on VHS official releases now too in our collections. Yes,
we do. Well, we didn't really talk a lot of Predator 2 this past 10 minutes, but
we can fill it in with an extra couple of minutes. What else is in this movie that stands out to you that you have to always, like, even if it's on the background, you always have to stop and particularly watch a certain scene or anything?
Off air we were talking about it, and you had a little button queued up, and that is the Want Some Candy scene, which is awesome. And so the Predator can distinguish between a real gun and a fake gun faster than the real LAPD. so this kid got to live.
Social commentary on the police department. Yeah. I like it.
Shots fired at children, actually. So,
Mommy,
I shouldn't be laughing. Yeah, and I love that scene, man. I think it's super awesome because the Predator locks onto him and then is like, which leads me to believe maybe in a future Predator movie, because this is kind of a thing that's plaguing the world right now, is people are painting their guns to look like Nerf guns or toy guns so they can, you know, openly carry them in the backseat of cars and shit. Maybe that's how we defeat the Predator, is we just we get an army of kids with fucking like bright blue guns that look like Nerf guns.
You may have just written the first Predator kids film.
There it is. I'll take all the royalties. Go ahead and send them this way.
Yeah, this is the Predator 2 is where we get the moral compass of a predator that we didn't get in the first one, because you won't kill a kid. And then when he later on, after the subway battle, he sneaks up on Maria Conchita Alonso and has her by the neck. And then he somehow does a infrared zoom in lens that it has X-ray capabilities into
ultrasound, bitches.
Yeah, into her belly, and we find out that Maria is with child. Now this
Danny Boy's child, I think.
There's two debates that come out of Predator 2. It's when do we get Alien versus Predator, and who the fuck knocked up Maria Conchita Alonso?
Well, I've heard two theories. I've heard Danny Boy and I've heard Bill Paxton. So
I think they set it up so to me it's totally Bill Paxton.
Oh, really?
Like it's like a regretful, like it's that repulsed attraction thing she has, and that's why she's not even looking at him on that subway.
I get all my ladies.
Yeah. That's why look at her body language when they get on that subway. He's just fucking talking and talking. She's just like, oh God, I made such a mistake last night. I can't believe.
Damn, that baby got big real quick.
That's how Bill Paxton's semen works. It does not.
Yeah,
it's not
overtime.
It's not paid by the hour.
Yeah.
Leave you begging for buttermilk.
God damn it! Hey, you're not my sister.
There's a reason he's called the Extreme in Twister, and no, it's not because he faces off against tornadoes, man against nature. It's because he can knock up a woman like that.
Like that, yes. And he's very smooth in this movie, even for a creep.
The Dennis Leary joke, he jerks off. There's a kid there the next day.
That's gross. But yeah, as far as the scene goes that I just always think of is I think of the graveyard scene. Because then, Danny Boy's necklace is there. And then you get that whole thing where Predator kind of lifts that little boy saying want some candy and uses it again in the subway, which is fucking great. And anybody who's a longtime listener knows that that's really is my favorite type of character, a character who knows they're not getting out of something alive, but they're like, guess what, I'm going out swinging. And Bill Paxton has that moment in this movie, even though his death is essentially off screen. Kind of.
I don't know what the hell it is he throws at it.
It's a tennis ball.
Is it a tennis ball?
He's carrying that, or not a tennis ball, a golf ball, or a ping pong ball. He always has that. Some kind of little white ball.
I'm just like, what the fuck does he? Like, he's just fired his gun and he throws something at it. I was like, that's the purest form of desperation. It's like, he's just missing taking his shoes off and throwing those at him next.
Mm-hmm. Throw some of the corpses of the people on the subway at it.
Oh yeah. Or he'll take that Key and Peele skit thing where he's just like, and plays like he's just died right there. Maybe I play dead, he won't fucking kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's his official downfall, is because he just, no matter what, he keeps picking up weapons and attempting to attack the Predator.
Well, he's distracting it because Maria Conchita Alonso is grabbing everyone else on the subway and moving them the other direction, which is a crazy shot when you get her perspective almost, where she's looking where she's pushing people off the train and she's looking back to where it's just there's no lights and all you see is gunfire coming at you technically.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in this movie that are just fucking brilliant, and that whole subway sequence is one of them. Another one of the most memorable shots in the movie is the Predator on top of the subway car.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck?
Oh my God. Yeah, so good, dude. It's just there's a lot to say, but obviously you can tell that we really do like this movie a lot.
Yeah, and I've always wondered also, who the hell found the severed Predator arm that's at the bottom of that apartment complex or meatpacking district? Because they're in a spot where the Predator could get dropped to his death, and he activates the self-destruct mechanism. And Danny Glover uses that saucer blade thing and slices his arm in half, almost like mid-forearm, which apparently disables explosives. But
yes,
after he severs the Predator off and he falls, he rips off this hand that's attached to him and just throws it. And I'm like, cigarette smoking man down there at the bottom of that building picking that up. They're like, oh, I'm going to put this into the containment unit with the rest of the shit we found right next to that frozen fetus.
Yeah, dude, that's maybe one of King Willie's men found the arm. Who knows? It definitely wasn't King Willie, because we glossed over that. King Willie meets his demise in that alley. which is I love that scene, and I love the way they edit it together. It plays together so nicely with the scream and then the reveal that Predator has removed his head.
Oh,
God, it's good.
That combined with, I love when he comes in and he's in camouflage and he leaps off the building and you see the puddle splashes on each foot stomp, which is slightly ridiculous that much water is shooting up off each stomp, but I get it for the effect because it looks awesome that he's in camo, but he's just boom, boom, boom. And then, yeah, this fight, I imagine, is over as quickly as it starts.
Yes, very much like Billy in the first Predator. Both off screen.
Billy would maul King Willie, man. He would be wearing King Willie as a suit.
Driving through 3 states.
Like the cutscene in that fight would be, you'd see the top of King Willie's screaming face on top of Billy's face because he's using it now as a cloak.
You wore her head as a hat.
Like he puts that shit on like with a slit all the way through it and goes back to that car that's full of all those guys in the gang. He just throws it off of them like it's a blanket and just starts killing everyone inside the car.
Jesus Christ, you went full-blown House of a Thousand Corpses. Who's your daddy?
How much, not to take anything away from our boy in House of a Thousand Corpses, but if we were to replace Otis with Billy from Predator, how much more hardcore you think that would be?
Oh my God.
I'm the one who brings the Christmas candy.
Yes. That would be amazing.
I bet you could
Dude.
see hell if I told you could stick your head in the fire.
Well, we're at the 52-minute mark, so I suppose we can wrap up our thoughts on Predator and move on to our next segments. But real quick, let's do final thoughts. I'll just say this is a super underrated creature feature. Most people, when they think of Predator, I said it at the beginning of the hour, they think of Predator 1. They don't think of much else. And if you're one of those people who just didn't watch this one because it doesn't have Arnold or whatever the reasoning may be, you really owe it to yourself to watch this because it is a fucking barrel of fun with great creature effects and tons of awesome character actors.
Yeah, there's a handful of movies that, to me, really epitomize the early 90s, and this is one of them. Predator 2, Freddy's Dead, a couple others that just really, I feel like, capture the feeling of the super early 90s. And another thing this movie absolutely captures is oppressive heat. Because I think I start sweating watching everyone else sweat in this movie. But it's a
BO and barbecue.
Yeah. Particularly when, they're on that rooftop and he's just, and fucking Danny Boy's so super casual, just leaning over the edge of this fucking building.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Even the wife's like, that's too close. You're too close, man.
I don't do heights real well. I don't know how you feel about heights.
I don't do them well either. I mean, I can handle them in certain aspects, but not in others. The wife is definitely, she cannot, a tall building, anything like that, it gets her. I can walk on a rooftop of a building and be fine, but I'm not good on like a 7-foot ladder.
Yeah, no. Ladders are bullshit, dude.
Ladders are indeed bullshit. Predator.
Hashtag.
Predator 2 is an underrated movie, and I think it's every other one that's come after it has not measured up to these first two. The first one is on that gold-plated spot, and you have right underneath it number 2 with Predator 2, and then it just it keeps degrading further and further from there. But there's your telltale sign right there. I can watch Predator anytime, multiple times. I can watch Predator 2 anytime, pretty much multiple times, minus some woman going to town on her man inside of a high-rise during the middle of the day. But that's goal. That's a relationship goals there, is to get your partner to make that noise. But the rest of the Predator franchise, which it's a franchise,
That's true.
I'm more or less one and done. Like, I've watched The Predator, only one time. Didn't mind it. It wasn't bad, but just once I was like, I'm all right. Predators, I think I've watched maybe twice, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never in the mindset to be like, you know what, let's throw that on. But these first two, anytime flicks, more or less.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I actually, it's not a very popular opinion, but I actually really like Alien vs. Predator Requiem. We talked about it 100 times. It's better than the first AVP, except it's so fucking dark, and they zoom in really close on fight sequences.
That's what turned me off on the first one. I'm like, I don't even want to watch the second one because everything is like, just back the fucking camera up. Let me see a fight. I don't like these transformer angles where I just see sharp objects hitting other sharp objects. Back it up. Let me see this. I've been waiting decades for this. goddammit. Show me this thing.
Yeah, and I always catch a lot of flack because I like AVP R, but because it is a R-rated film. There's gore that doesn't give a fuck. We're killing kids. We're killing everybody.
I don't give a fuck.
Yay, Tales from the Hood reference. Deep cut.
I don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck neither, motherfucker.
But yeah, you're right. This does have staying power. It has anytime ability minus the one sex scene, which is, and if you have a TV edit of it, you're not missing much other than boobs, really.
Boobs, bush, and butt.
Cuss words.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I imagine they cut pussy face out of the TV edit.
Yeah, I don't know what would the TV edit of pussy face be.
Okay, peck ahead. It's your move.
Okay, tushy face.
Okay, you alien idiot.
Like, his mouth didn't match up to that at all.
I like that when it's zero fucks given and zero effort put in. Just like, say anything but, all right, jerky jerkson.
Yes. That's the job I want. I want to be the guy who overdubs curse words for cable stations.
Yeah,
that's where I need to be. I don't want to do anything else with my life. Just
like you don't even you have the most inane job on earth. Like you don't even have to research anything. Just say just say random words in different tones and just apply it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Glorious.
tree man.
Yeah, moose cricket. Just weird shit.
Holy
right.
topography.
I suppose we've reached the end of our official discussion, which can only mean one thing. What does that mean, Evil?
Well, much like our live streams, we spent almost an hour here kind of gushing, talking about a feature film. So if you thought we were going to talk about this feature film that we thoroughly love and enjoy and have no need to rewatch immediately in order to talk about this very intently for an hour, you'd be dead wrong, because we got to look at the other side of the coin. We got to see what people, and there's a lot, but I've curated a handful select of people who did not like Predator 2 and did not like it so much they had to get to their keyboards, type up on Amazon, and tell them that we don't like Predator 2, and here's why, with our Amazon Uno Star reviews.
Hated it.
All right. First on up here, JVP.
Not to be confused with AVP.
Indeed, on September 20th, 2018. 1 star. Don't bother. This is by far the worst movie I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
I wish I could get my $3 back. It was so bad.
$3.
$3.
He rent it? Did he purchase it?
That is a dude who is
Inquire
very
when-
content on keeping his $3 in his pocket, man. I don't know if I'm that. I'm definitely not well off, but I'm like, it's $3, man. Just
Bite
shit.
the bullet.
Yeah, we spent like $27 something for a movie, and like this was a mistake.
Lords of Salem. Lords of Salem.
Black Eagle, I think, is the Jean-Claude Van Damme show Kashugi movie Bought that Blu-ray brand new, and I'm like, this was just boring.
That MVD release or whatever, you were like, you know anything about Black Eagle? I'm like, no. It's got Van Damme in it. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I should have bought Lionheart. That would have been better.
Fucking rules.
All right, next up, KD Burger on July 14th, 2014. 1 star, don't waste your time.
Recurring theme here.
I'd give it 0 stars, but that isn't an option. We couldn't get past the first 15 minutes of cursing before we just had to turn it off.
Oh, well, shit the bed, you fuck.
Well,
I was a slum kid. Slum kids talk like that.
Slum kid.
Yeah, Misery.
And Uno Mas to wrap things up here. This one I just absolutely love. This is from Joey G on March 13th, 2011. That's a 10-year-old review, just saying.
Good lord.
But Joey G says, 1 star. It's so hot.
Milk was a bad choice.
The characters constantly complain about how hot it is, but they refuse to take off their jackets and overcoats. I just couldn't get past that.
That is excellent. Why are you wearing so many layers of clothes? It's fucking 110 degrees.
Like, you're gonna die of heat exhaustion. Like, I like hot.
Makes me feel good. Makes me feel alive.
Who's, I mean, sort of the, Scorpio. I don't remember anyone wearing coats.
Well, they all have those, like, suit jacket things.
Yeah, sure.
Danny Boy has that, for a while. Fucking Bill Paxton's always wearing, he's got that, mustard yellow suit jacket and a black button-up long-sleeve shirt underneath it.
That's something we didn't mention, that's one of our, or at least definitely in your world, one of the most quoted things is that fucking Scorpio high on cocaine guy.
I do love that.
He is ready.
Scorpio is ready.
He doesn't care about fucking heat exhaustion anymore. He just did a whole load of cocaine up his nose. It's all in his fucking mustache like a powdered donut. He just smeared all over him.
More coke than Scarface, just right there.
He could have carried that body up to that top of that building, doing that much
You
coke.
couldn't carry him up there.
That's about 35, 40 feet. No rope, no ladder. Guy's weight's about 190, 195 pounds. You couldn't carry him up there.
So good.
But I got him.
All right, was that the end of the 1-star reviews?
That is the 1-star reviews that I found that were a good selection for Predator Dose.
All right, which I guess that means we're moving on to our next segment, which is...
It's time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about pussy face, and come on and take it.
Come on, pussy face. Oh, Jesus Christ. Brief plot synopsis of the prop game, Evil.
You're given the option to take one prop home from this movie, but don't make it an obvious one. What do you take home with you? What do you want to add to your collection? Go!
I sat there last night pondering, and there's a lot.
Mine was easy. I don't know about yours, but mine was easy.
Well, there's a lot of little stuff in this movie that I was like, man, I wouldn't mind. But you know me, you know where I'm going. Weird props. I want King Willie's head.
Really?
That's what I want.
Well,
more than anything in the world, I want King Willie's head.
This is the closest we may have ever come because I'm almost right there with you. What I wanted King Willie's bones.
Oh, excellent. See, we love King Willie. He rules.
He's just so fucking weird.
I just want the barrel that he throws the bones on.
I just want the bones so I can get my own barrel and just constantly baby, what do you want to go out for dinner tonight? Sure, where do you want to go?
You see, it's always the same. Culver's it is. Chicken sandwiches all around. More bones for my bones.
Hey, makes sense, man.
This thing that's feeding your people and mine comes from the other side of town. It is the Culvers. You can see it and smell it all around you. You hear it on the TV. It come calling.
Hey, Culver's fucking mushroom Swiss burgers are the bomb, dude.
I have nothing against Culver's, but I mean, my goodness, if you ever ask my children, at least right now, what do you want to eat anywhere in the world you want to go eat? Let's go back to Culver's. Again.
It used to be a post weigh-in tradition for my cousin and I. We would go weigh in for our fights, and then we would leave the weigh-ins and go eat Culver's and then spend like 2 hours shitting out greasy burgers because we hadn't fucking eaten in like a week.
And your stomach's like, what are you doing to us?
Why are you putting grease in here first thing?
Why do you
know? Why are you trying to...
Why you do this to me, Demi?
Yes. And so I love Culver's, but I gotta be in the mood for it.
Yeah, and I get overrun with it from my children here that wants it every time we have the option of going out to eat. I'm like, can we go to Culver's? Like, can we go anywhere else this time? Anywhere?
Mod pizza, bitch.
Now that is some good pizza.
It is good. Well, we've done Amazon 1-star reviews. We've done our prop game. I believe that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because we normally do final thoughts for the very end, but we said, fuck you, we're going to do it before we play our game. So we've already done that, so why are we still here?
I'm not really sure.
You need to press the button and just destruct this thing right now. Go ahead and start it up. It's your move, Roger.
I'm gonna do it. But thank you guys for coming and listening to us, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Evil, final words?
Okay, who's next?